the cast. So I'm like beyond excited at the moment. Okay.
Okay.
Still sleeping. Okay, yeah. So they put me in a split, so I'm like 100% happy. And I'm in my garage and I am training. Garage.
It's all
Okay.
you can do, man. Garage training is where it's at right now.
Yeah. So I'm
It's,
excited about that right now. How you doing?
not too bad. Not too bad. You know, uh, doing what I can, being at home 24/7. Not much else you can do. This Corona thing, so stuck at home, living the dream, man. Like,
Hey,
trying to do as many home workouts as I can, but it gets pretty boring pretty quickly.
100% with that, man. 100% with that. I'm over here playing with my sword and everything, cutting knives and stuff like that.
What do you so what's your training like? Is it obviously gyms are closed and everything, so minimal with
Uh,
the arm too, so
well, definitely since the arm process ended up happening, everything has been slowing down, and it factors in that I had like a knee surgery as well. But as of this week, I'm 100% back with basically my whole body except the right arm. But the training it's starting to pick back up. I'm just happy that I actually started running this week, so everything's getting back to normal. And September looks like I will definitely be back, so I'm excited
but
about that.
do you have any names in mind? Anybody that piques your interests? Is there any names out there or just anyone?
Well, right now it's just me getting in, but obviously I want to fight the best and whoever's the ones that are hot out there, like O'Malley. Nothing but mad respect to him. Obviously, I want that super rematch with Chito Vera. Or even Wood. It doesn't really matter. Just me getting in there, and then if I get a number, I'm happy off of that too.
Yeah, well, you had a big win last time, right? That the decision win over Jonathan Martinez, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And what made it big, and which like some people are starting to catch on and hearing about it, but I broke my forearm literally in the first round, first like 10 seconds and whatnot, and I fought through it, and no one, like I stated, ended up knowing about it until like weeks after, and it's kind of like messed up. But hey, who can we blame? Joe Rogan. Just saying.
How do you
That's all I feel.
how's that feel in there at the end where you're like, because it was a split, right? It was a split
That was a split
decision.
decision.
So you got to like, you were coming off a loss before that, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So knowing it's like, oh man, like one judge could give me back-to-back losses, or one judge could give me that win. It's how did you feel when you finally got that, you know, winner by
Oh,
split decision?
100% relief. Just factors in when it kind of like comes to it that like I know I put everything on the line in that fight, and just factors in like I stated with the whole armor and everything that I continued. Like most people would have ended up stopping, making front, but I had to put on my poker face. And everybody, if they don't know, I actually suck at poker, but I had to put poker face on that whole fight so your boy was out there. And it ended up becoming crazy because I felt that I won. I knew that I won, and for it to come down to a split decision, stuff happens, and especially since it was basically second home or whatnot. But it's all love. Uh, I felt that I won, but it went to the ref, or not the ref, but the judges. And at the end of the day, it's three opinions that matter, and it's those three judges.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, that's the thing. It's if it goes to the judges, I mean, you saw with John Jones and Dominic Reyes, you saw with Yoel, you saw with Yoel versus Adesanya. If you leave it to the judges, man, it is anything's up for grabs. It could go either way, and especially with the state of the judging today, you
uh,
really don't know. Um,
yeah, and that's why I always push that factors in. Hey, don't leave it to the judges. And like I stated, I did everything I can to not leave it with the judges, but it came up to it because but like this, hand not broken. I finished the fight in the second round. That's just how it is. That's how I
yeah,
feel. I really
yeah,
feel first, but everybody said the second, if anything. But hey, stuff happens.
yeah. It's a big win. I mean, I think personally, your biggest win was obviously against Barao. Come
Yeah,
in, your debut, beat former champion, a
that was
guy that,
overweight in his hometown. Let's remember all of those. You
and a
know,
guy who for so long was feared by the entire division.
that is true. That
Right?
is true.
So to come in your debut and take him out was, I thought that was remarkable. Like I was watching that fight, I remember watching it and being like, because I hadn't heard of you. I was like, Renan Barao, like I know he's coming through some rough times, a rough patch, but he's gonna win this comfortably. And Did not. So hats off to you, man.
Appreciate
That was
that.
an incredible fight. So
Thank you.
uh, yeah. So I guess we'll jump right back into the coronavirus. I guess from a fighter's perspective, um, how do you weigh the pros and cons of taking a fight? Right. Obviously, the con being, well, you can get corona, but pro being, it's a paycheck.
Well, one, obviously, the paycheck is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you weigh it? Like, for example, if you got a call and you were 100%, arm was good, said, hey, we got to fight 249, no fans. How do you weigh it? Like, how would you take that?
Hey, I love what I do. So in reality, I will definitely 100% take the fight. Uh, I'm 100% in there, and if I die in the cage, I'm happy with it. You know? Hey, obviously, people are going to be like really sad about it, but just know that I'm going to go down with a smile, so it's like a straight W. Like, hey, Kobe, I feel like Kobe Bryant calling for the ball. You already know the signal, you know. But straight out shout outs to R.I.P. Kobe as well. But it's one of those things. You end up knowing what you love to do. You'll sacrifice basically what you can to jump up in, and this is what I honestly love to do. So I'm in there, you know. But I end up understanding that, but people are not getting the full information. It's heat that honestly kills the virus. So in other words, you training and saunas and whatnot, you end up like burning that out. But a lot of people probably don't know about that. But now I just gave you the rabbit out the hat, or is the cat out the bag? One or the other. There you go. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people with that mentality. Like, I think Diego Sanchez is probably the best example of it, where he'd much rather die in there than lose.
Yeah.
And it's something that's unheard of. I mean, I don't have an MMA upbringing. I did a little jiu-jitsu, but let's be honest, like I'm not ready to die anywhere, right? Like, so someone has me to choke, I'm tapping right away. Like I don't I don't play around. Uh, so different mentality from. I mean, I'm an accountant, so an accountant has much different mentality. So it's unusual for people like me, I guess, who don't have that same sort of mentality. But man, that's what drew me to the sport. The fight that did it for me. Well, I guess the event, I guess, was Rashad and Rampage. When I saw Rampage tear that door down, I was like, yo, I
You
like this
did tear
guy.
that door down, man.
I like that guy. So that's what got me into it. Was there any particular event or martial artist or uh, I guess fight that really drew you to the sport? And if so, which one?
It's like a coin flip, but I guess you can say, well, obviously growing up, I was like a super fan of freaking, Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, Roy
Yeah.
Jones was my favorite boxer. So it was just one of those things like, when you pick up things, I picked up things like really fast. So especially since it's like growing up is like life and death situations and everything. So everything just kind of like was embedded into me, like forced down my throat type thing. But what honestly really did it, I guess you could say, is when Mighty Mouse did that like super flying arm bar where he just threw the dude in the air and then he like trapped him. I was like, oh snap! Which note, he is my favorite fighter right now. He's like number one, and then comes John Jones, who was John until Mighty Mouse did that, and
Yeah.
I kind of like flipped the coin. And truth be told, I really didn't watch a lot of basically cage fighting at all. I didn't watch it. So I kind of like kept to myself in a way. Boxing was the closest they'll ever get from me. So just like when I fought Renan Barao, I didn't know nothing about him, but everybody in my camp and my family knew, and they were telling me it's Renan Barao, and I'm like, okay, but we practiced today, so come on. So that was my mentality for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good mentality. I mean, it's probably better, especially with a big name like that, to not, I guess, know who he is. So the pressure is almost down a little bit. Um, or, knowing who he is may motivate you more, I guess, depending on who it is. Another question I have, predictions for 249.
It's going to be pretty tricky, but Khabib, I'm becoming more and more a fan every time he fights. But if anybody has a chance, it's his opponent as of right now. Like, it's pretty decent. He's sneaky. Not only sneaky, it's one of those situations he'll take a beating just to honestly throw stuff up. But what my brother always stated, he stated that he's like based off of a crowd, like, you know. And now you take away the crowd, does he still have that superpower now? Which I feel like he does, but my brother kind of threw that out there that he might not, you know.
Yeah.
So everything kind of it's a flip coin right there.
Yeah, the fight for me that did it, or the fight that's making me like almost set on Khabib was watching him get dropped by Lando Venata. And I mean, no disrespect to Lando Venata, but I mean, if Lando is going to drop Tony, I feel like if Khabib can drop him, I don't think Khabib lets him recover. Uh, and I've only ever seen Khabib rock that one time by Michael Johnson, who's
Yeah,
got a heck of a right hand and a heck of a left hand. So I don't know. I think it could go either way. I think the one thing that we haven't seen Khabib in is a lot of danger, and that's something that Tony can offer. Is his elbows off the bottom will crack him open. If there's blood, how's Khabib going to react? Um,
that is true.
as a fighter, what does blood do? Like when you start seeing blood flow down into your eyes, uh, like as an accountant, I'm thinking like I'd be out of there. Like the second I saw blood flowing into my eyes, I'd be like, oh, this isn't for me. But from someone who's been in there, someone who's fought, what would blood do? Does it motivate you to bite down on your mouthpiece, move forward?
It's motivation, man. Like like when I end up seeing blood, I actually I turn red. It's like, you know, oh, I gotta get it back. Oh, I gotta, you know, but it's like a survival kick that you know just kicks in and whatnot. Like I remember it was like in one of my sparring goes like 2011. I ended up breaking my nose, and my nose like went like far to the right side, and I'm not thinking that I broke it. The only thing I'm seeing is I saw blood on my gloves, you know, and then my mindset was, oh, we gotta go, like, you know. So I'm like throwing with the person, and then I think I ended up making it worse, you know. So, but like I said, when I see blood, it motivates me to go harder, a lot harder, you know, when kicks in. But yeah,
Oh man, I don't understand it from someone who doesn't experience it. I mean, I've been hit in the face a couple times, took a couple body shots, and I was like, let's stick with jujitsu. Muay Thai is not fun. Kickboxing is definitely not fun. Um, Not someone who likes body shots at all. Uh, so that's yeah, but I mean, I guess it's good to hear it from the fighter's perspective to see what exactly they're going through. I had um, uh, I had Mike Rodriguez, the light heavyweight. I had him on yesterday, and one of the questions that I asked him was, when you're in there and someone is, you know that you could be a second away from lights going out, or a second away from knocking someone out. When you're in there, he said it's almost like a chess match where you like almost zone out. You don't realize like, I could get hurt or I could hit him. It's just you're in there and you blank. Do you find that's similar with you, or do you sit there thinking like, oh man, like if I hit him, he's going out, or is like do those thoughts cross your mind at all?
um, I'd say yeah. Everything becomes like a coin flip on that. Like in my eyes, it's what I end up saying or how I like vision it. It's that anything obviously can happen, but be first. So you don't got to worry about it, you know. So that's like one thing, like how Connor, he's so great at what he does is because he's always first. Like he's trying to be first. And
Yeah.
anytime that he's a second late, you get a different outlook that, you know, hey, you're a second behind, you know. So it kind of like floats in that direction. But hey, look at this, be first, and that becomes your chest. You know, good offense is a great defense, just like a great defense could be your great offense. Everything kind of like depends on what's going on, you know. But most time blacking out, obviously you got to zone out everybody that's around you, you know. But yeah, when I look at it, it's just a nice, fun place inside the cage.
So you're saying like when you're in there, do you zone out the fans? Do you think there'd be a difference? Would you notice a difference if you were to compete in an empty arena?
uh,
Like
yeah,
what mid fight?
I'll say yeah. Just factors in, or not for me. I can obviously see for other people because, like I stated, everybody kind of feeds off of a crowd. Like me, I'm like no, like say for instance, I had a boxing background, so when the fighters like would fight, you'll get some crowds where they won't say nothing. Like, they're just quiet. They'll watch.
Yeah.
Unless obviously that one side has their family and then they're screaming and everything. But you get some where fans don't have, like, people are from a different, country/state and everything. So they don't have fans. So the crowd's just really quiet.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you might be the first fight where the crowd ain't there. Like, and like everything kind of like depends. So me kind of going or coming from like the cage fights and everything, that I fought in front of a crowd that was less, and then I fought in a crowd it was just like straight packed out. So to me, it's all, yeah. What I look at it is it's go time, it's fun time, let's have fun.
Yeah.
I am here to put on a show, so it don't matter how you look.
So in Brazil, when you were competing against Barao, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only time you've fought outside of the States. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that must have been different, getting in there and just getting booed simply because you weren't Brazilian.
That I want to say no, because the fight before that, I ended up fighting a guy named Dennis Paiva, which was his hometown, and it was I forgot where they are.
Lincoln,
so
Rhode Island. Rhode Island.
There you go, Rhode Island. So I was there. Everybody, I didn't I walked into it, but he was like the superhero of all superheroes out there. Like because over there it's like literally it's fighting. That's all they do. So that was their guy, And when I got into the cage, it was nothing but booze. When I was walking to the cage, it was 100% silent. Like it was so silent, like I don't even think they played my music when I was walking to the cage. So they kind of they played my system and everything. And so every time we fought, anytime he did something, they're screaming. Anytime I did something, it was quiet. So I was like already used to it. So my mindset again, it's like in the cage, it's your house, so it doesn't matter. So me going to Brazil, I wasn't thinking of everybody screaming or booing me. Because at the end of the day, after I got done getting booed and them like chanting, "We'll kill you" and all that other stuff, those same people are taking pictures with me, talking about "we love you" and all that other stuff, Like I think like majority of my fans is from Brazil, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've always, with the exception of people like Matt Brown, who would flip off the crowd, I think as long as you're respectful there, I mean, I think from what I hear, I mean, Connor's loved in Brazil, and he's had a lot of issues with Jose Aldo. So I think as long as you're respectful and whatnot in Brazil, I think for the most part, it's all love and respect. And I find that the one thing about MMA fans is that there is always love and respect to the fighters, regardless of where they're from.
No, that is true, man. That is really true, and that's why I end up loving Brazil, because exactly how you stated, exactly how they are. It's like it don't matter who it is, just know that we're cheering for our people, but after we'll buy you a beer, and it's like okay, can't get mad at that,
Yeah, yeah. So you competed in Brazil once. Is travel like an interest for you, or is it you'd much rather stay in the States?
Oh no. I want to be traveling the country. I want to because the way I look at it is I want to be worldwide. I don't just want to be, hey, we know you in the United States now or the U.S. like whatnot or California or Vegas. I want to be known around the world. I tried everything I can before I took the fight with Chito that I was trying to get on the Japan or the China card. Like that was the card I really wanted to be on, and I was like doing everything I can to get on it. Like I even got to the moment I even worked on my Mandarin just to get out there, So, so I was in there. I was like fully committed trying to get out there, but people didn't want to fight me, so it ended up coming out to the moment of I ended up fighting Chito, which is should have been like ranked before I even got the chance to even fight him. And not only that it kind of like came down to a number like a lot of people wouldn't accept me, except fighters like Chito that's down to throw and that are ranked, So it kind of like it opened up the doors on there.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I mean. I like the rankings in one aspect because for us it's easier to see like okay he's number 2, he's number 3, but at the same time, some guy who's ranked number 14, why would he fight someone who's just outside? It really makes things complicated. I find for people just outside to get a shot. Obviously, if you had beaten Chito, you'd likely be in the top 15. But now to get a shot, right? Like to get a shot at someone in the top 15, it's difficult simply because they don't view you as a guy in the top 15. Everyone wants to fight up in the rankings. So, how do you feel about rankings? Are you a fan of it, or is it something that you wish they didn't have?
Truth be told, rankings is there for a reason. So I like the rankings, but the rankings become favorable if they actually go by it, you know. And be honest, it doesn't really matter unless you're like top four that it really matters, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's like shows as in who's getting the next title shot. But right now, it's like showing us like how UFC kind of do it. It's that whoever is the known name. If you're the known name and people love you, just like this, like who has like a high chance out of everybody in the bantamweight class that will be probably the next of the newcomers that will have a title shot will be O'Malley. And why him is the factors in that the people love him. Like, you
Yeah.
know, he has a good following base. So they'll probably definitely skip him all the way up, just how they did Cody. They skipped him all the way up, like, you know. And for me to get there, I'm gonna have to beat or fight and beat O'Malley, or constantly keep building my you know my life and my background to honestly get there. You know, but
Yep.
obviously it comes down as in who you fight and who you beat, because uh, like, and this is another thing going back to Chito, like why I'm a big fan of him is the fact is in that, or a fan of his fighting spirit is the fact is in that it don't matter what rank he is, he will fight you because it's what he loves to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, besides all the stuff on the outside, it is what it is. But as a fighter inside the cage, he's that guy, like, he doesn't mind. Just like me. If I was ranked number 8, hey, I'm like, I saw the mentality. I want to fight everybody and anybody. So let's kind of make this happen. Put on the show for the fans. Let the fans love it. They'll love you. We'll keep moving. It's just like that. Like, you got to think about it. My 2 losses were against people that did not want to fight. You know, no one wanted to fight Cheeto. So it was kind of like, hey, Andre, sure. You know.
Yeah. And Nathaniel Wood too is no joke. I mean, he just got his first loss. He was undefeated up until John Dodson. So I mean, two studs are the two guys that you have losses to. So I mean,
You know,
3-2 in the UFC, beating former champion in your debut. I mean, what more could you ask for, right?
exactly.
Uh, at what point do you decide, you know what, I'm gonna start doing a Colby to get fights? What point do you say, you know what, I'm gonna start talking mad shit to everybody to see
This
what I can get? Or do you just stick and
uh,
say, you know what, that's not me. I'm gonna be myself. And if fans love me, they love me. Uh,
exactly how it is.
yeah,
I can't push in that. Like, I'm not a good shit talker. Like, people that know me, they know I suck at it. So me try to talk like out of character and talk shit, I'm like 100% bad at it. So I try to keep everything normal. But hey, people gonna end up loving what I do, because it's kind of hard to not like me. Like, you know, you hear me, you talk to me, you hold a conversation with me, you'll end up loving me. You
yeah,
know, like I said, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be loved, and eventually everybody's gonna love me. Even the ones that end up hating me, they'll turn around and say, "Well, he did put up. You know, he is a good fighter." You know, it's like, oh, it's always gonna end up going in that little, like, you know,
yeah.
steez and that statues. You know,
All right,
but
man. Well, mad
appreciate you.
respect. Huge fan. Thanks for taking the time. And
No
you're the
doubt, man.
fourth guest on my podcast, so appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on, and best of luck. Good. Hopefully you recover, and hopefully I'll see you in September.
All right, awesome. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. And, you know, nothing but love to you and everybody else that's watching.
All right, man. Keep washing your hands and stay safe.
All right, peace.